Today I fucked up by looking up Rule 34 bugs. Yesterday I, 23M, fucked up by starting my day with connectivity issues on my phone. This was frustrating for me because I have important messages to send relating to my line of work. I had to reset the router and went about my day as usual. When my mother, who is the account holder for our Wi-Fi, got home from her shift, I let her know about the issues and me resetting the router, and she informed me that she had removed old devices from her Wi-Fi because they had been going on sketchy sites. This is important for later. All was well and I went about my day as usual. Later that day my friend and I were talking and he had begun to mention how frustrated he was that people were making porn of one of his favorite characters. I told him about Rule 34 and he didn't believe me. I recently have been playing Hollow Knight, and if you've played that game you know there is a character people are very thirsty for. I told him they're porn of a bug in Hollow Knight, and in his shocked state, he asked to see it. Sensing the value of the humor in this situation, I began to search up Hollow Knight White Lady R34. Now this is where the fuck up starts. Typically when I go to explicit site my malware protection asks if I'm sure I would like to proceed to the site. This time was different. In a moment of muscle memory I hit a button labeled, Send Request to Account Holder. This is when I knew I fucked up. When my mother woke up this morning she texted me letting me know that my account had been placed on high security mode, by mistake. And I had the pleasure of attempting to convince my mom I'm not sexually attracted to animated bugs. TLR. I accidentally sent a request to look at bug porn directly to my mother's phone. Edit. The parental controls were not intentionally enabled but rather were turned on by mistake. I saw the title, and the first thing I thought was Hollow Knight. So, you are literally saying, you searched for it, for a friend. How could anyone see what sites were accessed via a router? Asking for a fiend. It's okay to be attracted to sexy Bugs Buddy. If you've played that game you know there is a character people are very thirsty for. I'm sorry what? One time my mom found the hentai I had printed and used all the ink in the printer. Ah, the joys of being a horny little degenerate who just discovered Newgrounds. Today I fucked up by trying to help a childhood friend who was down on his luck. I, 25 male, don't come from much, but I've worked really hard and pride myself on that. During high school I got a job as a produce clerk at a local grocery store, worked there through college, and ended up getting promoted all the way up to management. I am now in a regional training program for the company and my training store happens to be about 30 minutes from my hometown. I have a childhood friend, Alex, who has been down on his luck. He's been couch surfing, his girlfriend broke up with him, and he couldn't find a job. I told him to apply at my store and dropped his name to the hiring manager. He ended up getting hired as a bakery department clerk. I guess I expected him to be grateful he has a job and to treat it like the opportunity that I did. My fiancé and I have a spare room and offered it to him, rent-free, until he gets on his feet. I thought he would help out and be a good house guest. Boy, was I wrong. He is late to work 9/10 times, he has to be reminded to do every little aspect of his job, he texts on the floor, he is dismissive to customers. His defense is, I'm paid minimum wage so I do minimal effort. His room is trashed, and the other day my fiancé was washing dishes, he came downstairs and put his dirty stuff in the sink, then walked back upstairs. He bitches about my fiancé's alarm going off at 6 a.m. She is a dental student and goes to the gym before classes. He has never once contributed to the groceries but eats all our leftovers and snacks. It honestly just blows my mind. Before this he was applying for all these $50K a year jobs, with a checkered work history and absolutely no experience. He thinks that just because he is capable, someone will see that and give him a shot. Delusional. He is the most entitled person I've ever met and I have lost all respect for him. He doesn't know it, but tomorrow is his last day at work. He'll be fired before he even clocks in. Luckily he is in the process of moving in with the girl he's been seeing for a month, or I would be concerned we'd have to evict him. I don't know if he will blame me for being fired, but I kind of hope so. I don't want to be friends with someone like that. I feel like an idiot for not seeing that, down on his luck, was really lazy and entitled. He's his girlfriend's problem now. I tried and I'm out. TLR tried to help a childhood friend who was having a hard time in life. Turns out, having a hard time, is code for ridiculously lazy and entitled. There is a saying something along the lines of it's better to make friends at work than work with your friends. Can't remember exactly but I'd honestly only see myself working with a small percentage of my friends. They are the boys and wouldn't mind helping them, but ideally I'd rather work with a stranger. When you say process of moving in, does that mean he's already switching things over to the new place? If he gets canned tomorrow, what stops him from saying nope, he will stay at your place? Make you evict him? You didn't fuck up. He is the one who fucked up. I just want to commend you for stepping up like you did to help someone get back up on their feet. You are what's good in the world, man. I'm genuinely sorry you were taken for granted like this though. I hope things are looking better for you soon. Sometimes people are in the situation that they put themselves in. I feel sorry for the new chick he's getting ready to leech off of. OMFG, this post is so juicy, please post updates on how he reacts once he's been fired. I can't believe people can be so disrespectful to someone who's basically helped them turn around their life. You got him a job and a rent-free home and he's acting like you and your fiancé are his mom and dad. Putting dishes in the sink that your lady is currently washing, eating your food and snacks, not paying rent or even offering to help, and slacking off at a job you got him. He should know that affects your job and reputation as well. Face with rolling eyes, definitely change your key code and block his number. Put his boxes and dresser outside and tell him he's got till the end of the night to pick them up or you'll put them on the street. Crazy to me someone would be so ungrateful to such a good friend. You're a good dude for sure, man. Lending out your hand to help someone out takes a good heart. He messed up big time and I hope this doesn't affect your future interactions. Stay kind-hearted and open, my man. Today I fucked up by taking pre-workout then passing out. Backstory here: I have neglected my body for the last 2 years and let myself get away and gain lots of weight. I gained 30–40 pounds and not happy with myself. I bought some stuff to take the initiative to work out. I have never tried pre-workout before, so decided why the hell not. This was my 3rd week back at the gym and I saw the pre-workout sitting there and decided why not, so I took a whole scoop and popped it in my mouth. It was like chewing on styrofoam and packed a wallop. It was like dumping an entire bag of Sour Patch Kids in my mouth. It was pretty sour. I then grabbed my gym bag and headed out at 3:30 a.m. to hit the gym. I work nights and that's like midday for me. I get there and there is one vehicle outside, so I think to myself, perfect, can't embarrass myself if there's nobody to watch. At this point the pre-workout has been in my system long enough and I feel like I am on crack. I'm super amped with way too much energy. So I hit the weights hard, barely any rests between sets, super intense for 45 minutes. Never ever done that before. Towards the end of my last set I feel like throwing up, so I cut it short, and as I do some Giga Chads walk in the door. At this point my vision is so blurry I can't even make out their face and my stomach is churning. Thank God someone was there. I start packing up my stuff and head towards the door. I make eye contact with one of the Giga Chads and he says, "How's it going, man? Are you feeling alright?" I was trying so hard to play it cool but something wasn't right. All I could make put was, "No, I worked out too hard." Then I folded like a bag of bricks. Next thing I know I'm sitting against the wall with an ice-cold water bottle up to my mouth and 3 of the Giga Chads coming to my rescue. They're all attempting to get my attention but my brain and mouth is not registering. After what felt like eternity I said, "I'm okay," and they let out a sigh of relief. I started to come to and they helped me get up and sit down on a nearby bench. Then they told me I was out for a few minutes and were about to call 911. I told them I worked out a little too hard, way than I normally do. So after some good laughs I sat there for 10–20 minutes until I came to fully and knew I was safe to drive home. I felt so embarrassed that I nearly gave myself a stroke and these 3 poor gentlemen a heart attack, thinking I was dying on them. TLDR. Took some pre-workout. Sent it a little too hard at the gym without resting between sets for 45 minutes and proceeded to pass out and give 3 gym bros a panic attack. Hydration is needed. You don't eat a pre-workout raw. Mix it in water. Also be safe, use a less amount of it to test tolerance. Glad you're okay. I had something similar happen to me when I first started to work out again. I didn't have a pre-workout but I went hard and almost passed out while with a trainer. Had to drink some OJ and recover for a bit. Giga Chads were bros and won't look down on you for working out too hard. If anything, that's kinda impressive. Stupid, but impressive. WTF, the water you're supposed to mix it with is also important for your workout lol. Pre-workout is generally terrible stuff, even the clean ones. Taking a stimulant concoction that increases HR, BP, ECT prior to working out, which increases HR, BP, especially when unfit, is a bad idea. Can lead to arrhythmias, heart attacks, strokes, and a host of other problems. Also, never dry scoop. Did you get any Giga Chad digits? Also, what pre-workout? Please be careful about taking these stimulant powders and working out. People have legit died on the spot from doing stupid shit like this. Please be careful and know your limits and your body. Just stick to a cup of coffee or some yerba mate if you really need a boost. Even healthy young folks have died from consuming multiple energy drinks before a game. Just healthy athletic folks dropped dead from a massive heart attack on the spot. Today I fucked up by rolling my car 5 times to avoid hitting a squirrel. Obligatory. This was Sunday afternoon, not today. So I drove a 2004 Ford Expedition. It was my first car. My dad gave it to me when I turned 18. I'm 20 now, and I've avoided getting in accidents since I got my license. I'm usually a pretty safe driver, but I was a little bit distracted that day. I was off work Sunday because I had been out late the night before and knew I wouldn't feel like going to work that day. So I woke up early and started my day by playing some video games. Around 1 o'clock, I'm getting thirsty, so I decide to head to a nearby gas station. Needed gas for work the next day anyway, so I go buy a drink and use my last $30 to get about a quarter of a tank. It's only about 3 miles from my house, but most of the distance is on a rural highway. I get the gas and drink no problem, and I'm about halfway home when something bad happens. I had looked away from the road for just a second to pick up my drink and take a sip. When I look back up, something small and fast is darting right in front of my car. I didn't know what the fuck it was and it caught me off guard, so I quickly swerved to the right to avoid it. Of course, when you're going 45 miles per hour in a big SUV, fast turns are bad. So I quickly try to correct back left to avoid running off the road. Bad move. I overcorrect and spin out. The last thing I remember clearly is hearing my tires squeal and feeling the car spinning out. I remember thinking, God, I really hope I don't flip. Next thing I know, the back left tires gets caught in the mud on the side of the road and sends the whole thing airborne. I flew for about 10 to 15 feet before hitting the ground. All told, the car flipped about 5 times, which is the estimate a cop who happened to be coming my way when I crashed gave. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt at the time because it was just right down the road from my house. I got tossed around and ended up sitting on the backrest of the passenger seat. I'm a bigger dude, so I was stuck in the car for about half an hour while they cut open a portion of the roof to get me out. All told, I was remarkably uninjured. I have a few bruises and scrapes, a cut on my foot, and got a fishing hook stuck in my head, but I made it out alive and intact, with no major injuries. Worst part is that now I don't have a car, and trying to buy one on a fast food salary isn't very easy. Craziest part is that my dad and uncle were randomly coming to the same store right after I wrecked and came across my car. They were freaking out, but I was telling them I was fine. There's pictures of me stuck in the car smiling, with blood all over my leg lol. Still, me and the squirrel both made it. Next time I'm just gonna run it over though. It'd save me a lot of trouble. Too long did not read. To avoid killing an innocent squirrel, I flipped my SUV 5 times and walked away more or less unscathed. Always wear your seatbelt. I cannot understand why it is so hard for some people. You're lucky you didn't snap your neck or anything. Rolling it once would have been enough. Probably. I faced that choice once while driving back home on a highway. I stayed in my lane. The squirrel rolled under both right side tires. Double thump. I saw it in the rear view mirror flying back into the bushes. Car was okay. I was okay. Not sure about the squirrel. I feel like there are so many driver's ed lessons in this story that it should be added to a study manual with, can you find all the unsafe behaviors? Like, not wearing a seatbelt, distracted driving, having a sharp object loose so that it becomes a projectile in the event of an accident. Also, I thank you for sharing this story as my car has a rollover warning I never took seriously at under 50 mph and now I realize I should. I don't swerve for small animals. If had to choose my life or theirs. There is no debate. More so there might be other people around that might get caught up in the wreck. OFC I feel like shit and would try to avoid if safe to do so, but never if I have to swerve. Luckily I don't live somewhere where moose and other large mammals would jump into the road. In my country during my driving license exam I had a question with that exact issue. An animal crosses the road. What are you supposed to do? The correct answer was to not try to swerve or avoid it in any way. I understand why a bit better.